In the top left-hand corner, we're going to start things out with the red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. In the bottom right, red. Blue is a very different color to red, and they can't both be red as well. Blue, the player in the bottom right-hand side, is Rattata. He'll be obviously the underdog here, but we'll see if he can bring some Rattata magic to this and work on that. Hope the Craigs was good. It was great. It was top notch. What was the order? What's up, man? How you doing? It was it was breakfast, so it was just a sausage and bacon. I think I got a sausage and bacon baguette actually. Sausage and bacon baguette, plus a sausage bean melt for the train for lunch. I was kind of gutted actually, because like my plan was to get sushi for lunch for the train, but the freaking sushi place didn't open until 10:30, and that was not in our plan. Me and Helen were both like, "Oh yeah, super hyped to get sushi for the train back." Like it was like definitely gonna be our lunch, and then it was shut, and we were like, "Oh my god, what?" So now we know. Next time we go to London, we gotta get the 11 a.m. train home so we can go to the sushi place before we get on the train. So, we learned that much at least. Definitely, you know, planning improvements for next time around. When is the NA qualifier? Oh, great question. I think the NA qualifier is next week. It might even be on Tuesday next week, so it's like straight after Europe. So next week is kind of like a super long late stream for us, probably Europe into NA. I imagine we'll be around for that. But I'm not 100% sure. I've not looked that far ahead on the schedule yet. I've just been waiting on some other bits and pieces to be put together and figured out. Alright, anyways, yeah, I should probably move the screen around. We've been looking at this hatchery for a hot second, haven't we? There's a Reaper coming through already from the main base. Going to rally across down to the bottom right-hand side. Nothing weird about that, but that is going to be our first point of interest in this game. It's going to give us something to watch out for in these early few moments and something to cheer on and see how Clem can do with this initial Reaper. Playing against Rattata, not really expecting anything particularly cheeky from Clem. I don't think he needs to do anything particularly cheeky. I think he can play a pretty standard game here. You know, pretty straight up, nothing too crazy. Just play into like a, you know, a typical bio build, right? Maybe not 3cc because it's Rattata, but maybe just like a Hellion Banshee opening into some bio. I think that's just what Clem will be aiming for, because we all know Rattata loves to be a very aggressive player. Playing safe against that is definitely a bonus, as the drone very nearly went down. It regen just enough. And, yeah, against Rattata, who's typically a very aggressive player, it just makes a hell of a lot of sense to try and, well, yeah, to try and make sure you're not going to die early. And especially on a map like Berlingrad, that's typically A, good for Terrans, so why take any risks? And B, just a shorter map in general. Again, just may as well make the most of it and make sure you get that mid-game. Here we're going to fire up a few shots, drawing a few lings, taking some damage. I'm just going to see the Reaper backing it up a little bit. Next time I come to London, give you a shout. Mate, I did think about it, but me and Helen desperately needed some time to hang out and stuff, because it's just been so busy recently, so I was in the Monk's DreamHack and everything. Otherwise, I absolutely would have given you a message, but nah, next time for sure. Do you still work near, did the Fnatic offices used to be in Shoreditch, or they're still there? We actually stayed in Shoreditch. I did think about you. When I genuinely thought about you when we were there. But I don't know where you're working right now. Yeah, next time for sure. I actually might be there in August, man. I might try and go to the Pokemon World Championships in August, and if I do that, we should definitely hang out one night or something. Throw back to the Gfinity days. God, they were good. You had Gfinity, right, Matt? Am I being crazy? Pretty sure, no? Yeah, of course, because you were Hydra's manager for one time. Yeah. Yeah, those were the good old days. Yo, Phil McJr., did I completely miss your 7-month resub on the Prime? I'm so sorry. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I just saw it on my dashboard now. I'm like, I don't remember shouting out a sub. Thank you so much for the 7 months. I appreciate it, mate. Hellions continuing across the map. Heading down over here and going to try and make their way up the right side. The Queens are there pretty quickly to turn the Hellions around, though, so no luck over in that direction. As Baneling Nest all coming through. a few drones are dying as the Liberator of Clem gets into the main base, and of course Clem's so annoying with these early units. He's looking for openings with the Hellions. He is absolutely finding chances to kill drones with the Liberator. All these drones not mining, more drones dying. Oh, Clem's already having a great game. Does lose all the Hellions though, so he actually does have some non-success in this, as they're actually going to siege on top of this Queen as well. If Rattata's not paying attention, that could have been bad, but he is, and so not so bad. Clem actually not going to move the Lib back in time. Oh, he is. Oh, he doesn't. The Spore gets it. Only just, though. Only just. Alright, able to nab at that, as we do see the Fuelings. Just going to be out, down, around the bottom. It's going to be moving through. A couple of Queens joining up, and a couple of Evo Chambers will go down. Just going to get those dropped in there. And a little bit more creep spread. Pushing through to the center of the map at the moment. So, all of that getting going. And again, a few Lings, a few Queens out around the right. And the Lings is going to go and jump onto the set of rocks over here. So, it's going to start working through that. Open up the map. Of course, generally Terrans are the ones that are going to abuse this kind of position, being able to siege behind it and everything. So, opening up this as a potential avenue to then shut down attacks with run-bys and so on. Absolutely what you want to be doing. And Clem is going to start getting aggressive now. Stim is done, so it's time for the bio phase of the game. He definitely got set up well with the kind of initial unit harassment part of this game. And it's actually interesting that he has just gone a single engineering bay. And as we go into 4th and 5th racks, you might be cutting SCVs a little bit here, right? It is not... actually, no, it is double engineering bay. He just didn't start +1 armor. So that's actually a mistake. He's probably meant to be going into 1-1 right now. I was going to say, I was like 4th and 5th racks. Maybe we like cut SCVs and we get super aggro on 2 bases, but I think he's just missing the +1 armor upgrade, which is obviously, like I say, a little bit of a mistake. As we're kind of poking up and down this ramp here. Not actually going to get anything. He does stop those rocks from going down for now, though, as the Feelings will run forward, and I'm obviously good enough to just lift and get out. A Bane detonates on a single Marine, which is actually a good trade for Clem. Losing a Marine to 1 Baneling is absolutely fine. And not able to do too much about the creep spread just yet. That is worth noting, that the creep at least is going to be kept in a pretty good state from Rattata. With that creep spread in good position, you're going to give yourself a lot of chance and a lot of opportunity to run in from different sides, have that kind of speed boost, you know, going your way and stuff. So that's pretty neat as you have those Marines in the center still. Medivacs in the bottom left going to load up and just pull away over to the left-hand side too. A whole ton of extra Banes morphing on the far left side as Marines are going to come through, and a couple of Crypt Teamers going to get picked off. All these other Lings going down, a couple Hiders getting taken down as well. We do lift up and get away. Those Medivacs are able to escape out of there, staying alive, and this is where Clem is dangerous. Trading effectively on 2 sides of the map. It's hard to keep up with these fights, to split properly, to engage the correct way every single time as Rattata, and this is definitely where Clem usually pulls a lot of players apart. And it feels like Rattata is having a little tough time. You can see his supply is a little bit down. He does have Hydras on the way, but he's also just not got the gas to build more. He does have lava, I was going to say, but even spending all of that on Lings, he actually doesn't quite spend all of his money. So definitely some issues here and there for Rattata in terms of production. He does get the drop denial in the main base, though, and that's a huge win. Being able to pick off that drop pretty much for free in the end. Yeah, that is a mistake from Clem. Like I say, he's usually so good at keeping these units alive on the drops. To lose a full 2 Medivacs of Marines to Banes, a little bit unlike him, and it definitely gives Rattata a bit of a better chance again now, as this is not a fun position to fight. There's tanks everywhere, and, well, at least the creep spread is here going to allow these Banes to get closer nice and quickly, and the tanks don't last that long. It's actually a pretty great fight from Rattata, and Clem going to lose maybe these 2 Medivacs as well. These were the ones that were in the drop. They were just still on the bottom side. Looks like they're being brought back home, maybe in an F2 right now. 2 more tanks just very out in the open. They're going to get killed off. They were just kind of left in the front, and Clem losing a lot of his splash damage. At the tail end of this fight now, he is going to come out of it, and he's got he's got 1 tank on the map. That is not ideal when Hydras are already here. I actually think Clem is going to start being in a lot of trouble here in the next few moments. DreamHack European Champion is going to have to get a little bit defensive. He's going to try and take a 4th base still, though. Try and push down this low ground. Let's see if he can do this. Hydra's going to turn around and just going to go after the rocks there. A couple of Banes getting picked. Things getting taken down as well. I mean, Clem's still playing nice and aggressively with just the Marines at this stage. Yeah, it's maybe not a major straight-up push, but kind of knows that he can still be out and around on the map with this group of units, and is absolutely going to make the most of that if the opportunity is there. Lings running in again. Marines from the other side actually doing great at cleaning a bunch of this up already. A lot of Lings continue to go down. We've got our Marines still chasing into the left side. Picks off the Lings surrounding the siege tank there as well. All Ling Bane up to the northern side, and we do have Marines showing up here to fight this Ling Bane off. A lot of the Banes taking a lot of damage. We stem through the center, and we chase the Hydra Bane force back away again. Hive Tech has begun from Rattata. With the previous fight, he was definitely able to give himself some time, and that's allowed him to get that Hive Tech underway, if nothing else. So that's great, as we do see Clem loading up another couple of drops. Hive, as I said, ticking along. One thing Rattata's not having is a lot of creep spread replacement. You can see the Queen's on the way over here now, but yeah, it's starting to dissipate a little bit from the center, so that control that was looking good for him earlier definitely now a little bit disappearing. As Clem down the bottom left doesn't find a base then. I think that's one of the main things he's probably checking for. As he run past all this creep, he will deny the base on the right side, and if he keeps Rattata to 5 bases while he's on 4, I think he's kind of okay with it. Clem's going to find a few Hydras here as well, has to lift against the Banelings. But again, as the Hydra's taking a pretty good trade for himself. Let's see how he does top right. He does get the base cancel, and Rattata backs away. Isn't going to take the fight. Clem's going to try and draw him into the tank fire. He's off creep as well here, Clem, so he can do some splitting to help with this engagement, and he splits pretty darn well. Of course, it's Clem. Why wouldn't he be splitting well, as actually these Banes are having a horrible time. Clem does eventually lift up and leave, but geez, took a little while. As in the bottom left, this group of units is going to find themselves at the end of their lifespan. Not going to be able to do much else anymore, so they get cleaned out at least. Oh. I'm checking people's cameras, and I think everybody's following everyone else. I was like, man, whoever's watching right now isn't moving around much. And then everyone's watching the same point of view. I mean, I'm guilty as charged as well, but yeah, I feel like we were following 2 overlords when Clem's setting up another attack. Viper's out as well, very notable, right? That is something that now Rattata is going to be looking to make use of. So having these couple of Vipers up and running, big deal. And definitely have a pretty large impact, as we do have a push forward here from Clem. Moving on a little bit of creep once again. Just trying to knock that back and keep his opponent just out of the equation a little bit. This creep has snuck up the left-hand side. He didn't deny that with the drop down there previously, and is now actually encroaching his 4th base. As you see the 5th CC coming up there, there's also one top side, so he's going to have options as to where you can fly bases to, and you'll have replacement bases as well, which means you can re-land one if one of the planetaries gets knocked down. That's pretty important at this stage of the game, because you do typically see Zergs throwing units into the Terran bases. A couple tank shots, the bio coming through, and more force from Clem in the center. And we still push down the left side, and these few Banelings, well, as they try and crash on through, they're not going to be able to do too much. Or bio out on the center is going to move along. Coming straight through here pretty much, and just going to get rid of a couple Hydras, some of the creep going down as well. Pretty respectable job so far from Clem to clean out quite a bunch here, as we do have the Vipers are going to make their appearance on the left-hand side. And actually with some Abducts going to take down these tanks, although Bane's crashing into the tanks you've abducted kind of feels a little bit inefficient, and the planetary is going to absolutely make the hold at the end. The Vipers start to die, and Clem pushes this away with these. That honestly looked like a good situation to start with from Rattata, but it definitely turned sour pretty quickly. Definitely didn't end up how he wanted it to, as we continue this push now around into the bottom left corner. Running up this ramp, the Bane's going to try and move on in, and just going to be seen again. There's Bioforce there to respond to that. Push this back and push it away. Ling Bane Hydra still moving through. We're going to crash into everything. Clem needs to split down on the low ground. Does he have the damage output to deal with this? A couple of the Ghosts tanking some Banes definitely help. It's mostly Marauders left, but also some Ghost DPS to help with Lings. Clem is going to be okay, but once again, you can see it is Rattata on a supply lead, which is kind of how it's meant to be. Resources lost. Yeah, 8k. It's actually not too crazy. Of course, in a longer game on Berlingrad, the big issue becomes is that the Zerg generally can't have all the bases that they ever want to have. The map is somewhat constrained base count-wise, but right now, Rattata has the entire upper right side of the map as well, and that's something Clem has done nothing about, so that is a pretty big deal. And if nothing is done about it, That could become problematic as Ling Hydra moves through the center. We're going to see a fight over here as well. These Banes going to come rolling in towards this. We abduct a Ghost. We target fire down one of these Bane lanes. Clem turns for another one. Just keeps on picking them off. Wants to keep these trades going. Currently, it feels like Clem's struggling a little bit to rebuild on the back of this. Finally about to finish +3 armor, by the way. If you get that armor upgrade early in the game, the knock-on effect that it has throughout is obviously pretty huge. Armor is maybe not the most important upgrade for Terrans, but it does have an impact, especially if Lings start to nibble on units and you're not able to just kite away repeatedly. It can absolutely have a bit of a larger impact, so... We'll just see the CC moving up to the top. Again, a few additional Banes coming in. Just going to be seeing Ling Bane on the top side. Rolling forward right now. CC lifts away. Banes crash on through. 8 SCVs already going down. Clem is getting the bottom left base. I mean, to be fair, for Rattata having all the bases out on the map, it's not like he's really kept Clem to a limited number of bases either. Clem has, when he wants an expansion, been able to take it. Let's see if he can keep this one alive right now. The Planetary will add some good splash damage to this. These Banes are rolling off creep, and these Marines just stand there and fight. Yeah, this Planetary holds, and that's expensive from Rattata. It's a lot of units going down in a short period of time. Look at the army graph on that. You can just see big dip. Look at resources lost. We're talking about an 8k difference. Now it's a 10k difference. These Banes should be able to get this Planetary, and that's nice at least. You get rid of this base, but... I just feel like Clem can maybe rebuild that. These last few Bane lanes do come through and get a few units that didn't split away in time. Starting to chase down some of these units top right, and again, Rattata does just have the money and the base count to be able to kind of be everywhere and to do as he wishes at the moment, and he is absolutely making use of that luxury that most players don't get against Clem. Rattata continues to run in over here as Clem does deny the bottom left-hand base. That gets taken down already. Bioforce still pushing through. Unitedvax lifting up as Ling Bane Hydra continues along. Siege tank fire. Not going to be too successful. We do nab a ghost kill there in the tail end of that as well. These 3 Zerglings still going down. 19 SCVs have fallen, by the way. Now 22. This push from Rattata has been pretty deadly, but... supply-wise, Clem is still kind of in this, and especially if we can do some damage with this drop right now, this could be a pretty big deal. Splits the medevac that's hurting away, but the units that respond might be enough. A couple of Banelings were stuck on the Hydra, so Clem just doing what he can with this, trying to get the absolute most out of it. In theory, Rattata has the economy to just rebuild off the back of this very easily, so we will see in a second if that truly is the case. Ghost coming through. Creep Gym is coming along. And just going to be having the Ling Bane Hydra force top right. Quite going to get the chance to go away at those Marines. Tank there, which is doing some damage. Just going to see the Lings running in again. A few Banes in the Hydra. Trying to show up, trying to make a difference. Fight in the top right is pretty big for Clem. He really kind of needs to get through and kind of probably deny a base. He's going to lead back into his planetary fortress here. Oh, it's not planetary anymore. It's just an orbital. Okay, well, a few ghosts are probably going to have to evacuate, although extra Marines showing up and a couple extra tanks. We need to deal with these Banelings, though. The Marines get crashed on into. Does not work like that, obviously. And still expensive, though, from Rattata. These ghosts have been sniping, man. You do lose 6 SCVs. If this orbital survives... that's kind of magnificent for Clem. I mean, those ghosts are going huge, by the way. Holy crap. 23 kills on one of those ghosts. And they both get lifted to safety. 23 kills on one, 15 on the other. Jeez, they were heroes. Can we save this orbital? I'm going to come back up here. Snipes one of the Hydras. No, it just goes down. Doesn't get a repair in time. Is there enough to deal with Zerglings, though, Clem? I think he's got reinforcements streaming in, but again, are they here in time to properly deal with this? It's enough for now. Rattata is going to be pushed back. Clem will refuse to die. This TvZ is bonkers. Absolute madness, as we do have the top right base will be pushed once again. Marines just stimming up there. A couple of ghosts stimming along there as well. Just trying to get rid of this base, but will not be able to. Problem is, so much of this from Clem is not really about base denial anymore. It's about sort of survive. Like, he's trying to push, but it's much more about him trying to survive, and that's never really a great way to be playing against a Zerg. It's all happening in the top right. The bottom left base of Rattata goes completely unchecked and unharmed, unhindered. Yeah, it just feels as though this is going to be a bit too much. Eventually, Rattata overwhelms, and that might very well just be right now. And just keep on knocking on the front door. And yeah, Clem at 80 supply. Probably gonna have to tap out of this one, and this is his map pick here, so I'm gonna have to change things up a little bit for game 2. I feel like Clem had a great early game. Liberator killed a bunch of drones and everything. He just couldn't really capitalize on the momentum he gave himself. And that's very unlike Clem, to not be able to capitalize on that. Got shut down in a lot of fights as well. A lot of fights really just did not go his way. Also very notable. Blink Hydra starts to move on through. It's going to get through here. These Marines in a bit of trouble. Tank gets taken down. Other tank firing back. And Marines continue to chase on forward, and those Hydras in a bunch of trouble, actually being chased away at the moment. We're not going to get an orbital down to the bottom left as Clem tries to hang on into this. Only 41 SCVs, though. He needs to find major efficiency at this point. It's about 11k resources lost still. It's been that way for the last 15,000 resources of trading. Which means they've been trading evenly with, you know, Rattata on a much better economy, and that's why Clem has just not got as much anymore. Because Rattata has been trading pretty much evenly, mining twice as much. Yeah, I mean, eventually he should just outmass, so see if that's the case. He's already making an attack to deny this base from coming down. Clem trying to make something happen top right, but Rattata is really all over it as well. He's refusing to give Clem anything so far. He's just saying, no, you don't get to kind of push me around. You don't get to break into these positions. Doing a great job of playing around that entire idea. It's going to be seeing the little push down here. Clem desperately wants this corner base. If he can get this corner base and it starts coming to a mined out map, there is going to be something, some little bit of hope, I would say. Because then, I mean, obviously he won't be mining the top right base, not the far top right, but the one next to it. So there's at least a chance for him to start trading efficiently at that point, right? And that's definitely going to give you some kind of hope. Surely. In some kind of way. I'm just going to get that bottom left base for the moment. Hanging on in here. Refusing to go down without Rattata. Literally dragging him out of the game by killing absolutely everything possible. Clem not one to give up, that's for sure. He's always got that fighting spirit in him, and he will go until the game is 100% done. His Ling's going to try and swarm the Planetary Fortress. I mean, Planetary has a good chance of holding, no? If the SCVs can repair it. The Marines here, SCVs needed to repair a bit sooner. I felt like they took a while. As the base dies, Clem will tap out. Maybe he wasn't really expecting to hold this anyways. That is going to be GG's. And that will be our game. As we have got in the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem, down by 1 in this best of 3. And the top right, it is our blue Zerg, Rattata, gets that 1-0 lead. Like I said, guys, there's a !ads command. We're on a new Twitch deal that helps out a whole, like, basically it's like, I couldn't turn it down. It was just like 3 to 4 times what I usually make off Twitch just for running ads on their schedule for this month. That's not something you turn down because that's 2 tournaments we can just instantly fund off a month of running ads. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but it sucks. This is kind of just me getting used to the system as well and learning to pay more attention and stuff to it as well. So, I apologize, guys. At least it wasn't me just clicking the button. It wasn't just me clicking the button. It wasn't like I was like, oh, great time for ads. No, it was very much so me just not being too enthralled in the game and not noticing the time of it. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I can't stop them completely at certain points, but I do have like a button that lets me push them back by 5 minutes. That would have been fine in this case, for example, to save us. So, yeah, it was just unlucky. All good though. Great first game. And let's have a look to see what happens in game number 2. We do have Clem coming up to the upper right, having a little bit of a scout onto that natural. And just seeing it is indeed a hatchery already finished. That tells you it's a hatchery first. And that's a lot of what he wants to know about right now. If you subscribe, do you avoid the ads? Yes. We do have ad-free viewing for subs. That is an option. You can also get this thing called Twitch Turbo, which gives you ad-free viewing on all channels. And it's a little bit more per month, but if you want to watch multiple different streams without ads, I would actually recommend checking that out. I don't benefit if you guys have Twitch Turbo, or I think if you have Twitch Turbo and you would have been delivered an ad, I still get paid as though the ad connects with you. So it doesn't like negatively affect me in that regard, but like just as a general thing, because ads are becoming more prominent on Twitch, it might be something for some of you guys to check out. I'm not being paid by Twitch to tell you guys that. This is quite literally me saying, I just want you guys to have the best experience possible watching my stream and potentially other streams. That would be something I'd say is worth at least looking into, Twitch Turbo. You watch a lot of different streams and stuff. Playing speed is coming up. A couple of Hellions on the way in, and an additional barracks from Clem getting set up here as well. Enough ad talk we have gone through the early game. Holy shit, the Reaper killed 3 lings and a creep tumor. God damn it. I'm reading Twitch chat. Sorry, guys. Now the ads are having a knock-on effect. So yeah, Reaper gets 3 lings and a creep tumor. Great start from the Reaper then. Sorry we missed that. I'm just, like I say, reading chat and talking back to you guys. So yeah, just going to see a few drones coming in, Overlord coming up, Link Speed is going to be finishing up, and that Stimpack's on from Clem with the fast second racks. He's not messing around. It's going to be 2 Hellions and then straight into extra bio production. So 3cc 211 basically. Wants to get the bio army going quickly, try and get some pressure on the map straight away, and go from there. So the 2 Hellions do make out onto the map, away they go. Making that journey across. Actually, sorry, it was up to 4 Hellions already, so 4 Hellions to begin with here. Pretty nifty. Actually, it was, I think it was only the 2, but yeah, he's going to have 4 Hellions plus this bio timing. This could be scary. If these first 2 medevacs are the Hellions alive, Rattata needs to make sure he's defending properly. And he does have a Bane Nest coming up, which suggests he will be okay here. He'll be set up as you need to be. But that could be really scary if you weren't on top of it for sure, so nice to see that that is going to be responded to, like I say, somewhat properly here. As those Hellions do join up on the bottom corner for a few moments. In on this watchtower, and I do imagine they're going to try and again join up with this first medevac drop. 3rd CC is on the way into position as well. Let's see if Rattata can find a run by or so at this. He's actually going to play Mutalisks this time around, so a Spire is already coming up. Queen's just on the side again. Hellion sitting on the watchtower. Medevac's coming across. And just going to be getting themselves over to the edge of creep. So Hellion started to run on through. Just going to start going through this creep spread. And denies the active tumor. Gets an Overlord. Rattata supply block going into this fight. Isn't a great time to be supply block. Bane's only just started morphing as well. Clem even added the armory for this, as he's not sure when those Hellbats Banelings started morphing. So he's just going to kind of go for Queens initially. Now he can maybe start to fight these Banes. One of them connects from the left side, but he is going to be able to drop into the main base. So in we go to keep this rolling. Into the main we go. These drones getting chased down. And I'm just going to be having Rattata typing GG. Wow, he just dies. He just straight up dies. Spire obviously is an investment that doesn't pay off ahead of this attack. The Banes weren't really ready on time. And Clem's mobility up into the main just extends the damage. Because one of the things on Twitch has always been that ads have not really been super fair in how much they've paid streamers. But this month I would say is absolutely, for my stream at least, more than fair, so that's the good news. Alright guys, game number 3. Clem did not mess around in winning that game number 2. And he's in the top right as Rattata sits in the bottom left-hand side. Get into this game 3 now and see what's gonna go down. Extractor will go down, hatch gas, and a spawning pool will all begin. Just gonna get these overlords moving out. One on the right, one on the left. Getting that up and running. And just gonna be seeing a couple drones coming through the Reaper and the Orbital. All coming up as well. And away we go. So, what's up? Thank you so much, Trisepio, maybe? Thank you so much for the 6-month resub. How have I not learned to say your name in 6 months? I have no idea. But thank you so much for resubscribing. I probably say this every month. And Von Chaos B, thank you so much for the 2-month resub on the Prime as well. Came through just towards the end of that last game. Appreciate the resubs, guys. Thank you very much. Alright, SCV, heading down to the bottom left. As the Overlord comes on through, and we're just going to be seeing the SCV heading back around into the center. And, yeah, Reaper heading down to the bottom left side, seeing what's going on at the moment. We're just fighting. Fielding's taking some damage, and just going to be seeing back. Up a little bit. 3cc is going to get going. That's going to be our starting point for the moment. Let's see if this Reaper can get 4 kills like he did last time. It was 3 Lings and a Creep Tumor. Defensive Rattata immediately. Just a little bit better this time around. Reaper comes around. I'm just going to see an extra barracks on the way again. So very similar build here from Clem, if not just the same build. Even this Hellion kind of step kind of production that happened last time too. I guess very tight on minerals because you try and squeeze in that extra barracks so quickly, right? Let's see that Ling speed. About halfway done. I'm just going to be seeing the Reaper coming around down the bottom side. Third hatchery will be completing. And the Reaper can just continue to move around, see what's going on. As our stim pack will set up in the main base of Clem. Just going to be seeing this command center about to finish up as well. From the Hellion coming forwards, and just going to be seeing the Queen. A few Queens here actually able to deal with this. Just getting in position, push the Hellions and the Reaper back. Link speed is continuing through. Just going to be seeing the rotation around. Defense good so far. Again, it's 4 Hellions. We do see the barracks onto the reactor. Pretty much the exact same as last time, so we're hoping to see Rattata step it up a little bit on the defense this time. Obviously figure out what he needs to change. I think it's fairly obvious, right, what you fix, right? I mean, you just weren't quite prepared last time around. Balins weren't ready in time. He's going to play no fast glare this time. He's going to play double Evo. That means he's going to have a long time without the plus Baneling speed upgrade. It will mean we have faster 1-1 even than the Terran players, so you'll have good upgrades, but that does not help you with this first attack of the game. And I'm kind of worried we're going to put all the money right now into 1-1 upgrades, and then maybe we start a lair and a Baneling nest at the same time, and I'm just worried that once again we're not going to have Banelings in time to deal with this incoming attack, especially if there's going to be Hellbats included, because so far this seems like Clem is doing pretty much the exact same thing. Fourth hatch going down. Just getting that set up as we do have the melee upgrades coming through. The Baneling nest going in on the bottom side. And just going to be seeing the Zerglings out on the right as well. Just going to see these 2 medevacs heading down through the middle. No armory this time. It's actually not going to be the Hellbat variant of this, but I really wish there was, because honestly, if there's a few Hellbats with this right now, I think you're in trouble. Rattata does try and find the counterattack, but this time the Hellions were left behind because it's not going to be Hellbats. It's just going to be these Marines, which the Queens might be able to cope with a little bit. We lose one very quickly, though. We stem back out of trouble as the Lings arrive. Now we're just going to lift up and try and go elsewhere. The Hellions are setting up a run by at the same time. If they can get over here undetected, that could be a dead mineral line. As Clem is unable to find access into the main, there's only one Queen over here. The Lings are still running around just after the drop, not after this Hellion force. 7 drones. Now, the Hellions might die here, but this is going to distract him. Oh, my goodness, he gets around the back! Ho, 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 ho! He got around the back of the baneling nest, and that's going to be 13, 14 drones in total. That was so many more than expected. I think even Rattata thought he was just going to back away there, but Clem saw the opportunity to get in and do more. I thought those Hellions were dead, man, but he just dove deeper and found himself even more damage. Queens coming around there, just going to see a scan onto the natural as well. Getting set up, and just going to be seeing a Hydralisk Den from Rattata setting up on the bottom side as well. So getting that going as our Lings will get back to the top, and oh, that's going to be rough from Rattata. Recovering from that amount of worker losses against Clem. This time I really expect Clem to, keep his foot on that gas pedal and to find a way to make the most of this situation, which he was unable to do after taking a decent start in Game 1. This is an even better start here in Game number 3. It would be shocking to me if he wasn't able to make more of this. Marines unload down on the bottom right as you see our Marines come through. Overlord gets picked off. And as we move on forward, these Marines are already going to get rid of quite a few creep tumors, so Marines just continue to pull back, and just going to be having our medevacs load up and go over to the high ground here. Well, Bane's starting to waddle forward there, but Clem's just been great on his movement with these units so far. He's got a drop on the left side, and he's just doing a lot of what he was doing nicely in that first game as well, to be fair. I did love the game for Clem when he was kind of moving on two different sides and so on, although, again, at some point he did let it get a little bit too controlled by Rattata, and that's what he needs to stop from happening this time around. He's keeping this hatchery killed off, and that's obviously a big deal as well, as these Marines are sitting on the ledge, picking up basically free damage. Oh my goodness. These Marines are just having a wild time. Here come the Queens to shut this down finally. And Clem says, oh, well, you've just left the low ground, though, so I'm just going to push here now. And maybe get a drone or two. As Clem just going to try casually target fire down some banelings on the bottom side also. Hard to not speak well of Clem when he starts playing like this. Just about gets out the way of those banelings. And I was going to say, I've got to imagine Clem's got a freaking force of an army back at home waiting to do something, because it can't just be these two medevacs. And yeah, you look back and that's a chunk of Terran units waiting to be utilized. I was just having a lot of fun with his 2 drops for now. He doesn't need to change it into anything else just yet, apparently. He's looking for that hatch. Just going to be able to force the cancel again. So keeping Rattata for 5th base. Clem is already on 4 bases, so he's very comfortably teched up. I mean, we've not really looked back at the Terran side of the map because there's been no reason to. But yes, he's got that 4th base up and running. He's got this army now reinforced, and he's going to push with this. He's going to make his way down this left-hand side as Ling Bane going to start running through. The tanks will siege. Just going to be seeing those banelings. Well, actually, there was a lot of blowing up all at once, but I think it definitely favored Clem. He does lose quite a few tanks, though, so a fair few tanks do end up dropping down. Just going to be seeing the Bane Hydra Force coming back along as well here. Actually, Clem is going to get pushed back a little bit. This was 2-2 upgrades from Rattata. Mentioned earlier, he's going to have the 1-1 upgrade lead. That has led into the 2-2 upgrade lead as well. So Clem, without the upgrades right now, is for the moment pushed back. We'll see how round 2 of his larger fight goes. I don't know if he's actually going to have to start playing this late, real late game and actually really go into, ghosts and stuff. It's possible at this stage. It is possible. He's coming back around. These medevacs going to come back through up to the top. It's going to see the +2 armor upgrade is kicking in right now as well. And Clem actually taking a few moments to chill out and just work on building bases and everything. So he's going to start progressing on that. This command center will come down out toward the front. We'll get that going in the forward 5th position. So gets that underway. A couple of SCVs can return some money, and we get set up at the moment. Henry is going to go onto that set of rocks over there. Do have +3 attack already starting up from Clem. The Marines continue to unload. Just going to be having this force able to get through and pick off this set of rocks, like I say, opening up that section of the map. Both armies are going to be maxed out. Rattata's going into the Nidus network, setting up for that late game kind of harass. This first round of tanks is going to have a great time. So many Marines on the bottom, and there's not a single Baneling in that direction. A bunch of Banes hit the planetary, but not enough to actually kill anything, so that's really not ideal. And Clem is going to load up a couple of medevacs units and bring those out over the far right side as he continues to drop down the center. So yeah, just pushing one way, dropping the other side, and Clem keeping the action rolling here in this game 3. But definitely Rattata now forcing the late game out of this, right? We're going to get to the point here where, you know, Rattata's taking base number 6. Clem is going to have Marines over here to contest this a little bit. There's a few Banes morphing in there. Clem sees them. He's going to turn and go to cancel him. Don't hate that, and actually probably is just able to win the fight if any of the Banes finish. So takes those down. 3 kills, says, oh, that's a move command, though. Oh, it's a horrible move command on the left side as well. He's getting caught. I think Clem's panicking. He actually doesn't need a move command against that because there were so many Banelings on the right side. They weren't next to the actual kind of part of the army you want the Banelings next to. So Clem wasn't really in trouble there. So I think he just got a bit panicked across the board. Again, a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake from Clem. Costs him quite dearly as Marines drop into the bottom corner. And they're going to pick off that Spore Crawler, start working through this hatchery. More Lings going to come streaming on through. The Overseer there gets shot down. The Lingbane Force, Lingbane Hydra Force all collecting together. And we do have these medevacs going to unload now into the upper left. Those Lings would maybe love to make a play towards that base. Again, Lingbane Hydra coming through. It's going to run our way up here. Planetary Force to help defend. Clem's actually quite out of position for this, and that handful of ghosts might need a medevac evacuation, as Clem is going to end up coming in from all sides. Oh my god, the planetary nearly got repaired up to HP. The last Baneling got the kill, I think. There wasn't any left over to go after the SCVs afterward. Expensive from Rattata as Clem replaces that base almost immediately. It is just an orbital this time, though. No planetary fortress. He's got bases for days. Feels like Rattata isn't making enough of an indentation into Clem's economy with these attempted attacks. That's my biggest issue right now. Feels like these attacks just not quite delivering across the board just yet. Going back around the left side, we will see a couple of Overseers morphing in here from Rattata as well. 3 medevacs, sorry, of Clem over the far left-hand side. We're now going to start running in here, and that's a missile turret denied. We get to the top left side, and actually going to go after these SCVs. Quite a lot of them going down. Marines, Ghosts chipping away through this, and just going to be having the Lings, yeah, eventually killed off. It's a fair few Lings. Resources lost this game. Not that bad. 6,000 difference is really not bad at all for Rattata. I'm genuinely impressed. Rattata is able to draw these games out and push them later in the game, despite these rough starts. And wow, again, Clem not paying attention. Boom. That's an uncharacteristic mistake, no doubt about it. That's a really uncharacteristic. I mean, he's done that a few times now where he's just kind of let units run forward when they shouldn't be running forward. And again, sometimes it happens in these long games, but from Clem, we're just so used to not seeing it happen that it's got to be mentioned as, yeah, I mean, it's just not meant to happen when it's Clem playing this. Sorry, I don't know why we jumped back to the hatchery there, but we do have tank coverage at least helping out. A lot of snipes and overseers will supply block Rattata. Oh, Nidus gets up in the main base. That's not lurkers in the main. That's problematic. Clem was on his way with a couple of units, but oh dear, this is Clem's production being shut down. Rattata's going to control the ramp, so fighting up this ramp into this position is going to be very difficult. Clem's trying to get Ghosts away to the top side. He's going to cloak them up. There's a single overseer he needs to get rid of, and then the Ghosts are free to snipe away. So now they can snipe like crazy, and that's exactly what they'll do. It starts to become okay for Clem, but this gives Rattata a ton of time to set up the next part of this attack, which is going to go up this left-hand side. Banes are going to go rolling through, and seeing what they can connect in on. This orbital command immediately looks to be in some trouble, chasing down those SCVs here. A lot of these Banes getting picked off. 13 SCVs go down. I don't think Clem's in too bad a spot. I mean, honestly, this was very scary, but it actually honestly worked out okay. You know, he got a lot of lurkers out of it. He didn't lose too much production. Good recovery from Clem, and it all came down to recognizing there was only one overseer. If he sniped that, the Ghost really did just have free reign over the situation in the main. And the Overseer count is an issue. Not on the map right now. 4 new ones building. Clem has been an Overseer Slayer. He's killed 8 so far, and it's really his own, his own kind of activity. He's being proactive about denying the Overseers, and it's really actually having an impact on some of Rattata's attacks. So credit to Clem, because that is something which, if he wasn't, again, proactively seeking to do, it wouldn't actually be as meaningful as it has been. He's creating these own opportunities for himself. I don't like this attack at all from Rattata. I have no idea why we're diving in here without Banelings. A lot of Ghosts are going to start sniping down these Hydras, and it was a horrible fight when the Lings were dying. Now all these Hydras are dying? Yikes, that is horrible. As we're going to get through here, these drones are going to go down as well. Just wondering if that was a run-by or anything. It's not really. The Overseer hit by a missile turret. Clem's already on the way into the main base. Overseer barely survives. I just wouldn't have gotten up anyway. Clem was very on top of the possibility. Extra lurkers, Hydra's all coming through. We do see a run by to the left side as Clem looking to establish another base of his own. That's base number 7. 2, 4, 6. Yep, base 7 for him. There's the Nidus in the main. Tank coverage for it immediately. Not a moment of doubt that Clem will deny that from getting up. So, unfortunately for Rattata, you tricked Clem once, brilliant, but Clem will not be tricked twice in the same game in the same way. He's just a little bit too good to let that happen. He's running through. How about a Marines getting surrounded? Lurk is going to go running up that left-hand side. Rest of this force from Rattata getting going as well. Again, plenty of tanks sieging up. Clem's position defensively makes it so hard for Rattata to run into you. The problem is Rattata doesn't really have like a super late game army. He isn't slowing it down and teching up any further, right? Like, he's not really introducing Vipers. He's not playing into like a Broodlord transition. And so without that, he kind of needs to keep on playing aggressively. Otherwise, he's going to run into a lot of trouble. There's so much SimCity that these Banelings have to bust through before they can actually do anything useful. Oh my god, the Ghost just commanded into the Lurkers there, though. And it is a lot of Lurkers. This is what Rattata needs, but again, he only finds 5 SCVs. What does that matter? Clem's still mining comfortably, and that is, at the end of the day, I think is the biggest issue. Let's check in on that resources loss. 16,000 difference. What was, 5 minutes ago we talked about 6k difference? Now it's 10k worse. This Nidus isn't going to work, Rattata. Clem's not going to move that tank until he sees a reason to move it, so you're going to have to put that Nidus elsewhere next time. I'm just going to be seeing the coverage here. Should be okay for Clem. These tanks are going to work wonders in this position. They might go down, but not enough Banes to take down the planetary, and this attack was a complete waste. Couple tanks killed. I think Rattata is genuinely running out of units at the moment here. It's not looking pretty for him at all. Not looking pretty for him at all. Ghosts, tanks, and Thors all pulling back into the center, and we do have 34 more Lings, a few Overseers, and a +3 missile attack upgrade, all continuing in from Rattata. Just bringing all of this up as we do have the force set at the moment. Waiting to see just what might happen. Is it possible to neural a Ghost and EMP the others? Yes. It's one of the things that was missing in this game, actually, just, Infesta coverage. Infestas are a great late game unit because they can fungal the Ghosts as well. And we have seen players like Serral on Dark really proactively move Infestas under the Terran army repeatedly for scouting information and for that kind of surprise EMP. Neural EMP or fungal growth popping up. This is going to be GG's, and that's Rattata. He could not find a way to break Clem down. Way too solid across all this half of the map. Clem does get the win 2-1. Jeez, though. Wasn't freaking